Hello everyone, this is Deepti and I am a biology facilitator. Today in this video, I am going to discuss a topic of class 9 with all of you, and that is tissue. And without further wasting time, let us just begin the video. First of all, we will discuss the history of tissue. The term tissue was coined by Bichat in 1792. He was a French pathologist. He was father of histology too. Now, the term histology is derived from the Greek language and which is comprised of two words, histos and logos. Histos means tissues and logos means studies. Thus, histology is the study of tissues. Bichet at that time distinguished 21 different types of tissues without having microscopes, and that was a huge achievement if we keep that time in our mind. The term histology was coined by Mayer in 1890. Now, all of us know that cell is the structural and functional unit of life. Like a brick is a functional unit of a wall, like an atom is a structural and functional unit of an element. In the same way, cell is our basic unit of life. In single-celled organisms like amoeba and paramecium, they perform all the basic activities like movement, intake of food and respiratory gases, digestion, metabolism and excretion, etc. All of them on their own. These all done by the same cell, but in multicellular organisms, there are millions of cells. Most of cells are specialized to carry out a few functions efficiently. Now here arises the concept of division of labor in multicellular organisms. For example, muscle cells in humans, they just contract and relax to facilitate the movement. Nerve cells carry messages. Blood flows to transport oxygen, food, hormones, and waste materials. So, if we discuss about the official definition of tissue, that will be like a group of cells similar in structure that work together to perform a particular function forms a tissue. All cells of a tissue have same embryonic origin, which in some simple terms means that the mother of all cells of a tissue is same. Now, here you can see the neuron anatomy. Neuron means the human nervous cell, which is the basic unit of human nervous tissue. They all are basically same structurally and functionally, and they all originated from the ectoderm. Neuron anatomy, here you can see it is somewhat analogous to the branches of the tree and the trunk of the tree. Dendrites form the branches part of a tree, you can see, and the axon, it just resembles the trunk part of the tree. Now, you can see here the axon terminal also. Axon terminal and dendrites of another nerve cell, they just form a synapse, and the messages or impulses, they just transfer from one nerve cell to another in this way. Now, the importance of tissues. First of all, formation of tissues brought the concept of division of labor in multicellular organisms. Tissues forms organs and organs form organ system, and in this way hierarchy moves in an organism. Workload of single cell decreases as division of labor is there. The improved organization leads to the higher efficiency, and thus it leads to the higher survival in multicellular organisms. In simple terms, you can say that the multicellular organisms have a high lifespan as compared to the single celled organisms, because the division of labor is there in us, in multicellular organisms. Now, plants and animals have different types of tissues because plants are autotrophs, they are stationary, so all they need is support and structural strength. Most of tissues are dead. On the other hand, animals are heterotrophs, they are mobile, they have to move from one place to another in search of food, in search of prey, in search of their partner or mate. So they move very much. So all the animal tissues are living basically, in contrast to the plant tissues. So the basic difference you can see here, plant tissue organization is targeted towards stationary habit of plants, whereas the animal tissue organization is targeted towards the mobility of animals. Organization is simple in plant tissue, organization is complex in plant tissue, animal tissue. Many of the tissues are dead, for example, cough. Most of the tissues in animals are living. Growth is confined to certain areas in plant tissues. As we know, plants grow uh, in the root area or the shoot area, or like their girth increases from year to year. But in animals, growth is not limited to the areas. Less maintenance energy is required in plant tissues. More maintenance energy is required in animal tissues. Plants grow continuously throughout the life, but in the animals, as we know, we just grow till a certain age. For example, if you take the example of height in humans, that just take place, the growth in height take place to the certain age. So after reaching maturity stage, animals do not show further growth. Here you can see the classification of plant tissue, meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. Plant tissues are just of two types: meristematic tissue, which is a dividing tissue, and permanent tissue, which is a non-dividing tissue. Meristematic tissues, you can say they are also undifferentiated sort of tissues, while permanent tissues are the differentiated sort of tissues. Undifferentiated means they have not attained a certain shape, size, or a particular function. They have not assigned with a particular function. But permanent tissues have a particular shape, particular size, and they had attained a particular function. They are assigned a particular function. The meristematic tissue, after their maturity, they just become the permanent tissue, and differentiation is the attaining of a particular shape and size and a particular function. Meristematic tissue, on the basis of where they are placed, are divided into three types, further three types. First is apical meristem, second is lateral meristem, and third is intercalary meristem. Whereas permanent tissues are just of two types, simple and complex. Simple means they are made up of only one kind of cells, while complex means they are made up of more than one kind of cells. Simple permanent tissues are further divided into three types: parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma, whereas complex tissues, they are just of two types, xylem and phloem, and their type of cells is, you can see in the slide. Xylem is formed of tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma, and xylem fiber, and phloem, you can see, is formed of sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem, and phloem parenchyma, and phloem fibers.